So today's workshop is being brought to you by 519 Web, PinPoint Local, and the Business to Bruce. I'm really happy to be working in partnership with the Business to Bruce and developing a series of workshops for you. And this one in particular today is how to get found online with a Google My Business profile for your business. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to set up your profile and how to optimize it. So a little bit about me. My name's Deborah Clarke, and I'm new to the area. My husband and I moved just December of 2019 to the Kincardine area. We've been 35 years in the Sarnia-Lambton area. I grew up in Grand Bend, so I've lived along the shores of Lake Huron most of my life, and it was our family, my daughter, husband, and grandkids that brought us up this way, so we're really happy to be here. I do own 519 Web. PinPoint Local is a partner. I'm a partner of PinPoint Local, which is a franchise. We're in Canada, the United States, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. So together, the local piece, 519 Web, and PinPoint Local, we provide web design services, website services, digital marketing services, and search engine optimization services. So I'm really happy to be able to bring those types of global standards to the Bruce County and Kincardine area. So there's three parts to the presentation today. I want to talk to you about why having a Google My Business profile matters, why you should even be considering it, some of the steps to go through to actually set up and get your Google My Business profile verified, and just a few tips at the end how to optimize your profile going forward. I also have produced a PDF. It's a 10-page PDF Google My Business guide, and everyone who registered for the workshop today will get a copy of this PDF sent to you when you get a copy of this recording. So I've got that as well for you, and it just goes through step by step everything we're talking about. And because it's a PDF, the links in the document are clickable, so it really helps you to go through the setup process. So why is it important? Why should you even consider having a Google My Business profile? It's really crucial from a local SEO perspective that you have this. So we know that there's a lot of different search engines out there on the internet, but by far and wide, Google is the largest. And this is their system to have a Google My Business profile and their content, that they are able to search. So having these profiles is really building the searchable content for Google out there. And so from a local SEO perspective, if you want to rise to the top of near me or close by searches, you need to have a Google My Business profile. So the red box in the center there kind of says it all. Near me searches or even close by searches have increased over like 900% in the 2 years prior to the pandemic. And you can see that in the graph that's on the right-hand side there. At about 2015, we didn't even know what nearby or close by searches were, right? They were really non-existent until a time, and then they've just escalated, and they will continue to grow even more as going forward. The pandemic has really pushed searches online to a whole new level. So something else that's interesting on this page, in the circle at the top, you see podiatrist near me. So that's when people start typing in podiatrist, near me will be one of the first things that pops up. The list that shows below where I typed in podiatrist near me, these are things that Google is telling us are commonly searched when people put in something related to podiatrist. So it's interesting for you to see the other kinds of things that people would be searching in this particular area. But by far and wide, these near me searches have become paramount. And another reason why small businesses need to be online, because people are searching for things near me, and getting on this Google map is an important piece of that. So this is an example. I just finished out this podiatrist near me search, and Huron Shores Foot Clinic comes up in Kincardine. You can see the listing there. This worked really well. This young business, young gal from Kincardine that owns this business, we just did her website in December, and already when I'm putting in podiatrist near me, she's coming up in the Google's local pack. So we call it a Google local pack. In small areas, it's maybe 3 businesses that show up under the little map in this local pack. And then there'll be a link below that says to see more, and you can click and to see more businesses beyond those 3. In larger city centers, it might show 6. So we call it a 6-pack, 3-pack. But the name for this is a Google local pack. And every business's goal is to get into their area's local pack, right? Whether it's the first 3 listings or the first 6 listings. I did another example for you for dietitians. Nicole's a young dietitian in the Kincardine area. And so dietitians near me, and you see they come up in Nicole's spot on the map. So just another example. So these are the 3 things that you get with your local Google My Business profile. So number 1 is you want to get into this local pack listing, right? That's the first thing that you want. When someone clicks on your listing there, the second thing pops up, which is the actual profile. Google started calling this a knowledge bank, but this is what, when I think of the Google My Business profile, it's this piece in the center that I'm thinking of. So it shows your website, people can click through the website easily, it gives directions to your place. And then this is all the information that you've provided. So Google collects this from business owners so they know it's accurate, it's verifiable information. You're putting the information in about your own business. So the more information, the more rich you make this content, the better it will be for you. And then the third piece of the Google My Business profile is to get your actual pinpoint on the map. And for a lot of people, this is the reason they want to do this, is they want their pinpoint to end up on the map. So these are the 3 parts and 3 of the main reasons why you would want to have a Google My Business listing. But there is one more. Reviews. Google My Business profiles are an easy place for people to leave reviews for you. And this is an example that I love to share with people. This is the Rotary Park in Kincardine, Ontario. They've got an outdoor instrument park, musical park. And this is a picture that I actually posted. So I know this is real. When my husband and I were building our house, back in November of 2019, these are 2 friends from the Sarnia area that came to visit, retired school teachers. And I raved about this musical park, outdoor musical park that we've got. So of course they wanted to go see it. We spent some time there. I took some pictures. And then when we were done, I posted to the Rotary Park Google map, right? So that on the Google map, you can leave reviews and photos. And so I posted this saying, what a wonderful time, and visitors from out of town, and left this picture. I started about a month later getting emails from Google saying, your picture's getting lots of views. It's had 8,000 views. And then I would get another one saying, your picture's had 20,000 views. And then you can see this one. Hi, Deborah, your photo is really popular. It's got 80,000 views. And then this one you can see 97. I can tell you right now, this photograph at the Rotary Park in Kincardine, Ontario has had over 120,000 views. So that's the importance of collecting reviews and leaving reviews on people's businesses or community places, right? It really helps from an exposure standpoint. This is a good example of a business in Kincardine. The Bruce Kincardine is a restaurant, and they've done really well collecting reviews. 699 reviews that they have for this restaurant. Restaurants do collect reviews more easily, maybe, than some of the other businesses, and that makes sense, right? When we have a good evening out, it's nice to go in and be able to leave a review. We could do another whole workshop about handling reviews, because that is, it does become kind of a big deal. Reviews are like currency online for small businesses. All of us, think of yourself before you make a major purchase or buy a service. We usually do check the reviews online. So the one thing that I will mention, and I get asked all the time, is how do I handle negative reviews? And I can share that we're pretty savvy as a consumer base. We don't expect you to have 5-star reviews all the time, but we do expect, if there is a negative review, that you've dealt with it. So what I want to see when there's a negative review that comes up with your place of business, I want to see that you've responded to them. You say, I'm sorry you've had that experience. I'm happy to deal with this offline with you, or I'll be contacting you offline. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see rambling back and forth. I don't want to see that. I just want to know that you've acknowledged it and that you are going to be dealing with it offline. That's the best way to handle a review. I get asked all the time, can I take down a negative review? And no, you can't. When someone puts up a review on your Google profile, it's there to stay. You cannot take it down. The best thing you can do is bury it with more good reviews. That's my recommendation. So reviews are important, and they need to be managed. The worst thing is to have a bad review and not deal with it. That's not a good thing. A little bit more about reviews. This is the Here in Shores Foot Clinic. I did get orthotics from this young gal that has a website, and look at this picture that I put on her review, 1,438 views. That helps a little business, right? To get that many eyeballs on your particular profile. Southampton Olive Oil Company. This is a box of oils that I keep on my kitchen counter. And after I got a delivery from them, I put the post up. I was so happy how quickly it came to me, and 4,294 reviews they got of that particular photo that I put up. And this is an artist in Walkerton. I bought one of her prints. This particular one, over 3,000 views. So those reviews do make a difference, and they do help people. And photos, especially with a comment, will really go a long way. So I really encourage people. It's one way that you can support your local businesses, right? We talk about the shop local momentum that's out there. And if you want to keep that going even beyond pandemic days, we need to support one another. And one way that you can do that is by leaving reviews, positive reviews. People are too quick sometimes to only make comments when things are negative, and we need to be more supportive with our local businesses and leave reviews online. If you want to take it one step further, you can actually become a local Google guide, and that helps you to support your local community. So you do need a Google account, but if you're going to be setting up a Google profile, you're going to have a Google account. So the second piece is the piece that you'd want to pay attention to. There's to sign up as a local guide. It's just google.com, local guides, sign up. And that allows you then as a local guide to share your discoveries of the town, or not just this town, but anywhere as a guide, places that you visited, you can add information. And then Google will also email you. So I've had emails from them that will say, I see that you've been to this particular park, or you live close to this particular park. Is it wheelchair accessible? Like they'll send me questions that would be of interest to people about particular places. And if you know, you answer. And if you don't know, you just pass the question by. But that's something to consider as well. So reviews are a way that we can help our local community and be supportive. So I did mention already, the reviews are like currency online. I want you to be generous to support your local businesses with positive reviews. And you can do that on the Google My Business profiles that we're going to be talking about today. But you can also do it on Facebook and LinkedIn, TripAdvisor. There's lots of places you can leave reviews. And then support your local community by becoming a local Google guide if you're so inclined. So we've established that having a Google My Business profile does matter, right? If you want to get found online for local search engine optimization, that's what SEO stands for, search engine optimization. It gets you moving up the ranks of that local pack. It gets you your own profile page with Google My Business. So it's another like social media page. And it gets you on that map with your own pinpoint on the actual Google map. And it's a great place to collect reviews. So those are the reasons that I think are most important reasons why you should have a Google My Business profile. So let's get to it. Let's go through some steps to actually get you set up with your own profile. So the first thing you need to do is start with a fresh Google page. So go into a new tab and open up a Google page. That's as easy as going to google.com and opening up that page. What I want you to look at when you get there, I just have to move our photos here just 1 second. I'm doing this live. There we go. There we go. So the first thing I want you to look at when you get there is up in this top corner. So you'll see the top right corner, there's a round circle with a photo of me, and then there's a circle beside with 3 by 3 dots. If you have a circle in that top right-hand corner, it means you've got a Google account. And it automatically opens up when you open up a new Google page. The dots beside it take you to a menu. So those 3 by 3 dots, by clicking on that, this menu that you see below opens up. So if you're not sure if you are in the business Google account or your personal one, you can figure that out by opening this up. When I open this up, I see from a personal basis all the Google access that I've got. When I click on my photo, this opens up and it shows the other Google accounts I've got. So this is my business account here. This is the 519 Web business account. Okay, so if I click on that, I go, okay, I don't want to be in my personal account. I want to go to my business Google account. I click on that, and now you'll see the picture's changed to my logo for my business. So now I know I'm in my business account in Google. There's a 3x3 dots. Click on that, and this menu opens up. And what has changed is all of a sudden, this blue house shows up. This is the Google My Business Profile. And this will only show up for you if you have a Google My Business Profile. If you're a business who has a Google account but no profile yet, that house will not be there. It will look like this one, right? The house is not showing up in my personal one. So right away, I know I'm in my personal one. So if you don't have a Google account set up yet, if you don't have a Gmail, it's just accounts.google.com. And that would let you set up your initial Google account. But I just find a lot of people get their accounts set up and then they're not sure how to access them again. And that's why I share this bit of information. This isn't setting up your Google My Business Profile yet. This is just setting up your Google account, making sure you've got a Google account, and then knowing how to easily toggle back and forth between those accounts to find the Google My Business Profile when you do have it listed, right? So you look for the account you're in, you click the 3x3 dots, you see that you've got your Google My Business house, and then you can click on that and make changes anytime. So that's easy access from the Google page. So you want to start. You don't have a Google My Business account yet. You want to get started. You're going to go to business.google.com. And the screen that you see at the bottom is what's going to pop up there. And you want to manage now. So this is the very first step in setting up your Google My Business Profile. This is the next page you're going to come to. Just simply put in your business name. When you get to this page, the second one, it will have your business name repeated here. They're wanting you to confirm the terms of service. And I do recommend people have a read. You can, through the terms of service, and you'll find out some of the reasons why they might cancel an account or disable your Google account. So it'll just tell you the different things that are allowed or not allowed when posting. So it's worth giving that a read and then clicking next. The next is choosing a category. And you can choose, I'm going to talk later in the video about optimizing these categories, but you can choose one category when you're setting up your initial account and choose the category that is closest or broadest maybe in the terms of what your business does. So you don't type in just anything here. Google has a drop-down menu. So if it's a print shop that you have, you start typing in print, and then they will show you, Google shows you the different options for print shops, and you choose the one that is most like yours. You have to type in a real address. So when they ask for your location, you have to type in a real address. It can't be a post office box, and it needs to be an address that gets mail. So postal codes matter as well. And there is an option for you to choose not to have your location published. It can be a private location. People like plumbers, electricians, a lot of people working from home businesses now as well, sometimes don't want their address to be published. And that's fine. Google needs the address in there. You can make it private, but then you have to know that it's not going to show up on the map, right? You're never going to have one of those pinpoints on the map. And it does affect those near me searches, right? Because you're not going to be showing up on that pinpoint map. So that's just a caveat. So I am encouraging people, even if you do have a home business, if you want to show up on that pinpoint map, you do need to put in your physical address, and it does need to be public. You need to be aware of that. And Google will actually be mailing you verification, but this is your address. The next section you're going to be looking at is the service areas. And if you deliver service outside of a physical address, so if you're beyond retail and servicing outside of your retail operation, you can put in all the different areas that you would cover for service. So it can be as broad as the county of Bruce. You can list all the different towns and cities that you want to provide service. And I recommend you list as many areas as you service as you can. And then you're going to be asked which way to verify. Most of us who verify, the request will be to verify by postcard, by mail. And it takes 10 or 12 days for this to happen, but you will physically get from Google, a postcard size piece of mail, and inside that it will have a code that you have to put into your account for it to go public. And this is a good thing. I mean, Google is very, very careful that every business that they set up in these profiles are real physical businesses. And that's why they physically mail you a postcard. Now, I've had a few businesses that this step has been easier. The option came up that they could actually be emailed for verification. But these were businesses that were already well established, had been in business for many years, already had websites for many years, and Google could quickly see that they had an established presence online. And so it wasn't required for them to mail a postcard. They simply got an email, clicked verify, and within minutes, this was live for them. But that would be only for very mature businesses with already established, well-established presence online. For the majority of us setting up, the option will be postcard by mail, is what you see on the screen. And then you'll get your site is going to be verified. The postcard's coming to you. You get this little picture screen, and it'll take 10 or 12 days. You'll find a couple of weeks before you'll get that postcard in the mail, and you can finish your profile. But that doesn't mean you have to stop at this point. You can continue to set up the profile. It's just it won't go public until this verification is done. And Google will tell you that at this process. So this is the behind the screens. I just helped a young gal, Amy Richards from Divine Designs in Port Elgin. I don't know if Amy's on this call with us this morning or not. But we set up her Google My Business, and this is a screenshot, so that's why it's not super clear. But a few things that I want to point out to you on this screen. I wanted you to see what it looks like behind the scenes on the admin panel. So again, top right-hand corner there, you can see the A is her Google, shows that she's got her Google account open. There's the 3x3 dots. And then when you click on the dots, this menu popped up, and there's that blue house, right? So that's the first part of this page. The next thing I want you to see is in the middle of this admin area, it says pending verification. So we were able to get her to the point of verification, having that card sent off to her. And when you get the card, it's going to be inside here that you are going to add the verification code. It'll be in that same area. There'll be opportunity for you to add the code. The other thing that you can see on this page is we were able to set up about 65% of her profile. So Google tells you how much you've got set up. So she was going to go back in later and add a little bit more about description, a little bit more about her logos and things like that. So this is how you get to those areas. On the left-hand panel, you'll see the Divine Designs, and then these are the tabs, the different areas of the profile that she can go into. So info is the first one that you want to complete with as much information as you can. It's just information about the business, hours of operation, just different pieces of your website address, different pieces of information about your business. And then below that, the second arrow there is photos. You can start uploading some photos as well. And then to further complete it out, you can go into posts and products. And they're just like Facebook posts. You can add a picture, you can add a description. With your products, I recommend people build out their product line with information. You can add prices or not add prices, it's up to you. But this is the dashboard behind the scenes in your Google My Business profile. And then lastly, just a few tips to share with you on optimizing. So some of you already have Google My Business profiles, and what are some things that you can do to optimize it and make it even better for you? The first thing is fill out the information as complete as you can. So that info tab that you saw down the left-hand side of the screen in the admin area, fill that out as thoroughly as you can. And having a website does matter, right? So people who have websites, they will rank higher in this Google local pack than a business that doesn't have a website. You can still have a Google My Business profile without having a website. Lots of businesses do, but you will rank higher if you have a website. That does help the search. And the other thing to know is your profile doesn't have to be 100% complete. So you saw that 65% complete on the last business that we just looked at. If you get 80% or better, because there might be some things that you're not wanting to have in the profile that Google is considering as part of their 100% complete. So as long as you get 80% plus, you're going to be okay with that profile. The second tip I've got is adding secondary categories. So you choose a category before you get verified. Once the business is verified, you get that code and you're verified and your profile goes public, you can go back into this info area where the arrow is again and add secondary categories. And I highly recommend that people do that. And one of the best ways to figure out what other categories that you should maybe be having is to look at what the competitors are doing when you pull up a 6-pack, right? So here, custom printing near me, when I put this in, this was an example of the first 3 showing, all had different categories. So one's a print shop, one's a custom t-shirt store, one's a screen printer. So that tells me if my business does all those things, I should have all of those categories listed on my business profile, because people could search things differently, right? They could search for a screen printer, they could search for custom t-shirts, and you will rank. So this guy might rank number 1 if somebody was searching screen printer because he has that category listed, right? So it does affect how you show up in searches, depending on what the person coming on board is searching. So you want to think of the people coming to your website and looking for you online. What would they be searching? And then you want your category to be as closely related to that as possible. But I would just go into your local pack, whatever is close to your industry, and take a look at some of the categories that other businesses are using. And you will see that they'll show up in different searches with different categories. And that's because they've used this multiple category tip. And tip number 3, keep adding content. So continue to update your profile. Don't just set your profile and then leave it. Continue to update with posts. Consider it like a social media platform. Add photos and products to your profile as well. And just make it as robust as you can. And remember, photos are important. Google now has the ability to search photos. So they are, because they're searchable content, photos help a lot as well. And then the last tip I have for you today is, you know that Google likes photos and posts and products, but what they're really looking for, and this is an important piece, that what Google is looking for is quality information. And that's why the whole verification process is important to them. They want to know that this is real, right? So quality information, quality photos are original photos. And that's why that Rotary Club photo, it's not a stock picture. It's a picture someone physically took and put up on their website. And Google likes original content, right? They're a search engine, and they like original content. So the quality would be, the more original, the better. Consistency of reviews and photos. And so what I mean by that, if you set up a new profile and you've got a customer list of 100 people, you don't want to send out to 100 people all at once to get reviews or comments on your profile. It would be better if you maybe did 10 this week, 10 next week, 10 the week after that, and people put up their reviews and comments on your profile more consistently over time. So Google likes consistency. And the last piece, of course, is quantity. So quite often you'll find in your searches, people with the more reviews and more traffic to their sites, whether it's even just eyeballs on pictures or physical reviews, Google can tell the traffic that's coming in on that post, and people with the more traffic tend to get higher in that local pack. So quality of information, consistency of information, and quantity of information is important to Google. So I hope this has helped you to understand a little bit about why it's important that you have a Google My Business profile and how it can benefit your business getting found online. I'm happy to answer any questions that any of you have now. I'll stay online. Don't forget to leave a review, a Google review. You can simply search in Google, in my case, 509 Web Concardant. Any business in the town will pull up their the Google page. And I do see every single one of the reviews that come through. Most businesses will. I do reply to them all. And there's my email address for all of you on the screen as well. If you want to follow up with me after with any questions, it's just Deborah@519web.com. And I'm happy to address any questions you've got by email.